I'm still here, so I'm on a 2-game winning streak. Chad, how you feeling after last week? Are you rested, recovered?
Well, I had an extended vacation. We took our 2 weeks off, and I said, "Hey, fuck y'all. That wasn't enough for me. I'm gonna take one more."
Hey,
Feel pretty good, well and rested. I have lots of opinions that I'm sure everybody's waiting to hear. Probably gonna
I
sweat a little extra more today.
a little
Just to
extra
make
more.
up for
Yeah,
that.
that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, just I gotta make up for lost time. So why the fuck not? Let's just start off with that.
Yeah, well, we did have somebody. I think that our friends down in Boomer Sumer country were ready to play the Chad Swears game, and you weren't here last week, so I think you disappointed them. They probably all went home sober, so you probably had some disappointed husbands and wives. So
Yeah,
I
my
think that
apologies.
you need to know that you need to wear that on your shoulders. Uh,
I'm the reason they didn't get none that night.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? Like you might have ruined the scouting combine. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world right now. I think that you're the cause of it for not showing up for the show last week. So I want you to know that that is all on your shoulders, and today is your opportunity to make it up. Um, but before we make it up, I want to make sure that everyone pours themselves a wonderful shake lager. I gotta tell you, this stuff it's a wonderful thing to put in your glass. I am definitely enjoying it. And I just their catchphrase for some reason has found its way into my like everyday vocabulary for anybody that doesn't know. Just enjoy the win. For some reason, all the time, I keep saying that at work now. Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but uh you know what? It's stuck inside of me. Much like every show until Aaron Rodgers picks a team, we are going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We're going to talk about a lot of draft stuff, combine stuff, free agency. It's pretty much a wonderful time to be a sports fan. March is a great month. We got NFL free agency. We got March Madness that's about to kick off here. I mean, it's championship week, but for most people, March Madness kicks off here in about 10 days. Hockey trade deadline and hockey playoffs are going to get started. And for the third straight year, Major League Baseball has decided to piss off and alienate their fan base. So things are consistent in the sports world. So we are all enjoying that. But as promised, opening story is going to be Aaron Rodgers. And what I put on here when I sent you the note, Chad, was here we go again.
I think
It's gonna remain being the top story. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think it's an off season if we don't have a quarterback controversy before the season even gets halfway underway. Like the league year hasn't even started yet. Last year was Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. This year, once again, it's the same two guys. One retired, the other one's like, I don't want to play in Green Bay no more. So I just feel like that's just the way the offseason goes now.
It's cold there. There's probably not a lot of fun. The guy
There's probably
literally just
nothing to do in Wisconsin right now.
he just broke up with his fiance. He's a single guy. He's got millions of dollars. Uh, I just I gotta tell you, I think that the pond in Green Bay is a little bit picked by now. I think that
Yeah,
you gotta go to a different market if you're gonna enjoy yourself.
unless he's gonna get 55 million reasons to stay. Is that kind of what we're going with?
Well, here's the
Like,
thing.
does that make the pond a little sweeter?
Yeah, I guess, but if you're getting $55 million to essentially walk your best friend out the door, is it really worth it? I mean, Devonte
I
Adams.
was Shane, you telling me it's 55 million worth walking your best friend out the door?
Well, hey, if that was the opportunity, I'm sure you'd understand. But if it came down to if I got the opportunity to do what I love to do, but I'm not going to be surrounded by great players, or I could just go and make slightly less money and win a game. Hey, there she is. Chad, get your swears out. You're good.
Oh, we're fucking coming now. Get
Hey,
all the tequila shots in you.
Kelly, Chad is back. Don't worry. Do not fret. Um, but yeah, I mean, basically the report that's out there, whether we believe it or not, uh, Aaron Rodgers needs to decide between $55 million a year, roughly, for Green Bay, or the short list of teams, which would be the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Titans. And I listed them in that order because I think that's the most likely up of teams to go. I mean, I think that Denver has the most to offer at this point. They're the most likely to go all in on him. Um, could I see Tomlin making a push? Kevin Colbert has been their GM there for 21 years, but he's on his way out the door. They got a new GM coming in, which means Tomlin's going to have a lot more to say about it. How many more years does Tomlin want to coach? Would they be willing to give up 3 first-round picks? You ask me, absolutely. I'd love it. That'd be fantastic. And then the Titans, they're already cash strapped. Would Aaron Rodgers want to go to a team with, I guess the Steelers and the Titans both have bad offensive lines, but would he want to go to a team like that? But I don't know. What do you think? Like, unbiasedly, do you think that my list is in wrong order?
I think Denver's the heavy favorite. I think that's
100%. And like,
I don't think
he's there.
I think we can just literally, like, if we're gonna put numbers on, I think that's around a minus 180 right there.
Yeah.
And then as far as Pittsburgh, does it make sense? Yes, because they're kind of built to win now. The defense is only going to get older, so if you're going to make a move, this is the chance to do it. Kind of like building that LA super team, like go get your guy.
Yeah.
Like we all learned draft picks mean nothing in LA, so I bet you they don't mean the same thing in Green Bay either. If you're going to sit there and be drafting after 25 every time,
right?
Give up 3 of them might not be the end of the world if you're going to get a Super Bowl. They call this place Title Town. They've won 1 since Super Bowl 2. Sorry, 2 of them since Super Bowl 2. Yeah. So I think they're going to rename the town or go chase some Super Bowls.
Well,
and as
it's
far
kind
as
of like Edmonton for us, right?
Yeah, and then as far as Tennessee goes, it makes a lot of sense. Supposedly he bought a house in Nashville, but I bet you he just likes country music, and who the hell wouldn't want to go have a couple drinks on lower Broadway? Like, I think anybody would.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So maybe where he plays and where he lives doesn't have to be the same thing. And I'm not sure if he lives in Green Bay or California or whatever. But I'm saying if I was a recently broken off engagement, 38 years old with millions of dollars, give me a city that I would have to go live in, I think I would pick.
Let me tell you what breaking up engagements.
Yeah,
Let me tell you, relocating is pretty simple. Moving on isn't that hard.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers.
And if I got 55 million reasons to go live and buy a house in Nashville just because, I'm going to go play football wherever I choose to. Who doesn't like a little weekend away to Nashville on a bye week?
Right. Well, and it's a great destination, great party town. I'm sure that he's on like the outskirts of Nashville. I'm sure he's not like actually in like Nashville itself, but I think that would be an awesome place to live. But yeah, I mean, recently coming out of an engagement, and I mean, have you seen some of the new country singers that are coming out? Like,
yeah, I go hang out there too.
Yeah, like this guy's got all the money in the world. He's just looking for love in all the wrong places. So why not head on down to Nashville and turn his whole life into a country music song? And then in the off season he can.
The Hollywood girls didn't do too well for him, so.
Yeah, high maintenance, right? Like he needs to go get himself a Southern girl in Nashville and just enjoy himself. Why not?
I think the other team people are forgetting about is like Washington's ready to sell the farm.
Well, because they have to, right? They have.
Like they literally called every single team with corp. They called Kansas City.
Yeah. Well,
like they already knew the answer was no, but hey, sometimes you got to talk to all the girls just to for one of them might say yes.
They are doing everything that they can to get the stink of the scandal off of them from everything that's been coming out. They need a high end quarterback so that you can start winning. Because when you start winning, generally, those kind of things like aren't really in the news cycle anymore. Obviously, they don't disappear. Like the courts don't care about that, but ESPN won't cover your owner as a scumbag if Aaron Rodgers
is there.
Yeah, he comes to town and wins the Super Bowl, which, I mean, come on, that's not going to happen. But
what an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is going to be an ongoing saga for the entire offseason. I actually kind of thought that something was going to come out of the combine here. It doesn't seem like it did. I don't know if you saw the thing between Michael Silver and David Bakhtiari today.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so David Bakhtiari is getting married today or yesterday, whatever. Aaron Rodgers was the officiant, and it must have been today. So Michael Silver came out and put some report out saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to make his decision tomorrow. So Bakhtiari's like, yo, why he's trying to steal my thunder on my wedding day? Because, I mean, Aaron Rodgers there, obviously, not Pat LaFleur. What's his name? Matt LaFleur. The Packers coach is there. So I'm sure there's a lot going on down there. But
maybe he'll just make it in his speech.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like the natural thing for Roger, like it just seems like the way that he would probably do this thing is on a random Tuesday with McAfee, wherever, right? I mean, that seems to be where he's making his decisions, and he seems to have a comfortable enough relationship. I think him and AJ Hawk are like boys, so it would make a lot of sense if it actually came out on that show. But whatever, we're gonna watch. I don't think that there's any price tag that is too high as a Steelers fan to give up for him. All the Steelers beat writers are saying, well, do we want to give up that kind of draft capital? And my automatic answer is fuck yes. We absolutely want to give up that much draft capital. If Matthew Stafford going to the Rams wins the Super Bowl, I think that Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers also wins the Super Bowl.
So
And
I want to know. So someone thinks that he's going to retire and go to the Argos. So I
uh,
would like to know, like, what do we have to wager to, like, for this? Like, what
yeah,
happens if this actually happens? So
all right,
Courtney, you
well,
give us a legit bet, and
yeah,
we'll think about it for the rest of the show.
yeah,
What
yeah.
happens if he signs with the Argos?
Well, I think the Argos win the Grey Cup. That's for sure.
That's
That's an automatic. But I mean, other quarterbacks are on the move here, and we've talked Jimmy Garoppolo to death, and he's having surgery, so the we'd be rich. Yeah, the
yeah. You
Jimmy
guys
G
could
thing.
afford him.
Yeah, the Jimmy
55
G thing
million is
is
bigger than the whole salary cap for the CFL.
100%. But there's enough money in Toronto that people will start pitching. I'm sure Drake will pay half of it. Jimmy G being linked to the Saints seems to make a little bit of sense. That probably, like, if I closed my eyes and said picture Jimmy G in a jersey, okay, I can see him in a Saints jersey, fine. I also kind of thought that he would be an option for the Steelers, but I actually have a realistic option for the Steelers, and that's going to come a little bit later on. But as a Bucks fan, do you care that Jimmy G is going to end up with the Saints here?
No, because I think he's actually going to end up in Tampa. I actually do
Okay.
believe that.
Okay.
If you look at the Saints roster and you look at Tampa Bay's roster,
You'll have to excuse me while I open my fridge full of shake lager.
I'll let you do it. And then you look at the two coaching staffs. If I'm a quarterback who's kind of had a history of just being not really having no respect on his name, that's the easiest way to say it. Going to a guy like Bruce Arians where you can flourish and kind of revamp your career. Like Carson Palmer was on the down end of his career. Played a couple more years under Bruce Arians and had some great seasons.
Yeah.
The guys have proven quarterbacks everywhere he's went. So I think for a guy like Jimmy G, if I had to pick between the Saints and the Bucks, I'm going to the Bucks.
Right.
I don't think Tom Brady's going to come back, and therefore there's a massive void at quarterback because I know Kalen's not here to bash Blaine Gabbert, but even if he was not becoming a free agent, he's not going to win us 10 games.
Yeah. No, and Blaine
So
Gabbert,
we're going to have to go get somebody.
he's not the answer. And I mean, they drafted Kyle Trask, and I don't know if Kyle Trask. I don't know if you've heard anything from any of the coming out of any. I don't follow many Buck stuff. I'll be honest. I really didn't think that this was Brady's last year. It still might not be. I mean, as much as whatever Arians is saying, it's bad business to let Brady go. I think push comes to shove. Jason Light probably has enough respect for Brady as a man that if he came and said, "Yo, I'm going here. You need to cut me," I think that they would do it.
As long as we're out the money, I'll take it. That's all it comes down to.
Right. I mean, essentially, what you'd be looking to do is cut him after June 1st, or trade him after June 1st, and then you kind of kick the can down the road a little bit, which ultimately the dead money is the dead money regardless. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, like, probably not the sexiest name, even though he might be the best looking quarterback in the league. He's probably not the sexiest name if your team is looking for a quarterback. But this Russell Wilson thing seems like it's gonna be a big deal. And if it's actually true that they turned down 3 first round picks from the Commanders, uh, that's a problem because Seattle is more than 3 first round picks away from rebuilding that roster. So
I don't know how any team could say no to 3 first round picks. Like, unless you're literally right there on the cusp of winning the Super Bowl, I don't understand how you say no to 3 first-round picks. Like, Russell's on the down end of his career. You've been rebuilding for years. You're still not there. Like, I understand this isn't the quarterback draft, but if you take those 3 first-round picks, and there's going to be quarterbacks coming out every single year, get the pieces built in around it. And then if one of those guys comes up or a free agent comes up, you can channel those picks and package them together, and then you can make a move on somebody. I guess that's
Right.
common sense.
Right. Yeah. And for Russell Wilson, I would say it's more likely that they went to Russell's camp and be like, "Hey, we have an offer. It's a really good one for our team, but you're gonna have to go play in Washington." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not. That's not happening." And that's probably where that died. But it seems like the Eagles and the Broncos are also teams that are linked to Wilson, and I I don't really know if he's going to get traded. Like, if it is true that I don't think any other team's going to give up 3 first-round picks. So if you are the Seahawks and you have three first-round picks from Washington and Russell Wilson doesn't want to go there, again, I'm speculating. I'm just guessing. Um, if that's the case and another team offers you 2 first-round picks, you're not going to downgrade just to appease the player. Like, fuck him, just ruin his career. I mean, your team's going to suck anyway. You might as well suck with a quarterback that's going to put fans in the stands.
Yeah, I think Russ needs to go and Pete Carroll needs to go. I think that's something that can save Seattle right now.
I think Pete Carroll's on the way to go. Like, he I don't know many more years the guy has left.
Like, he's
100. He's 100 years old, Chad.
He's the oldest coach, is he not? Him and Bruce.
He might be one of the oldest humans alive.
That being said, he did take off his shirt, flex in front of DK Metcalf when he drafted him at the combine. So,
yeah, think how many years that took off of his life to take his shirt off that fast. Like, this poor guy still comes to and look, he's got a lot of energy. Whatever. For 78 or 98, however old the guy. I actually don't know how old the guy is, but he's old as dirt, and you can't imagine he's going to be coaching for much longer. So unless they're holding on for one more year to see if they can have another like 6-win season and miss the playoffs, and then send Pete Carroll into the promised land, I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Russell Wilson's one of the quarterbacks that I wouldn't want the Steelers to get, just because I don't really care for him that much. Mostly because he went to Wisconsin and he's a bitch. But quarterback that I would love for
Mitchell
the Steelers.
Trubisky?
That's right. And I've talked to you about it a lot. And I think that a former second overall pick that was ruined by the Bears has gone on to Buffalo, learned how to play the quarterback position under Brian Daboll. He also was he was in the room with Josh Allen, so maybe he would see some things the way that he wouldn't have seen them before. But his projected salary coming out of free agency is about $10 million. And I think that if you could get a guy like that for $10 million, you're signing up for it and you're locking it in for as long as you possibly can. And is he going to be an automatic Super Bowl quarterback? I don't know, but he can't be. I mean, he's more mobile than Roethlisberger. He's probably as big, or maybe a little bit. He's got a little bit less poundage on him than Roethlisberger, but he can move around the pocket. He's got some receivers there. I think it would be an awesome fit.
I think he's the quarterback that everybody wants. I think instead of Aaron Rodgers, like everybody wants Aaron Rodgers. We get that.
Yeah.
But like he's the second prettiest girl at the dance.
Yeah, well, he's the one that I don't mind taking because he's not gonna. We don't have to go for a steak dinner first. You know?
Yeah. Get that guy some McDonald's and then you call it a day, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
The one place I keep hearing about him though is at the Giants. The tie to the coach.
That makes sense.
What does that mean for Daniel Jones? That's the big thing. Unfortunately, Cantlin's not here because I just wanted to make fun of him. How because Daniel Jones is a bum. But yeah, no, they're linking Trubisky to the Giants, which makes a lot of sense because he went to Buffalo to learn how to play quarterback. That was the reason behind it, I guess. Because we said it made no sense to us last year why you go to a place you're never going to touch the field in.
Right.
And now your offensive coordinator, who developed Josh Allen into a really good quarterback, who was super raw coming out of college. And obviously, you guys had a great relationship, the two of them. And so, yeah, and he spoke very highly of Mitch. And so, yeah, Trubisky going to New York makes a lot of sense. And I think that's a massive upgrade for the Giants.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. And I mean, free agency, we're about 9 days away until that kicks off. So I'm sure we're going to see some rumors, some tagging started happening. But before we go much further, we will probably give our Calvin Ridley picks of the day. I know I posted them on socials before. I didn't realize that he was going to come out as a gambling wizard and say that he was the new ambassador for Coolbet. But today we like the Oilers money line and we like the Utah Jazz money line. I paired them up plus 422. Might as well. And
Did you say
like
you put $1,500 on that though?
you know what?
You might lose $10 million if you do.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get into our little friend Calvin Ridley here in a second. But before we do, we should talk about because I mean before we lose our job as Coolbet ambassadors to Calvin Ridley, we should probably say make sure you go and check out the #1 sports book in Canada, Coolbet Canada. Make your first deposit. Use the code Goin for 2, and they will double your money up to $200. If you need any help with this, hit us in the DMs. We will get you on that. But our pal Calvin Ridley. Apparently, we have way more in common with him than we thought because this guy just puts in 14 leg parlays and bet about $1,500 on on the Falcons losing, which is hilarious. I'm sure he cashed that bet, but yeah, what Chad said is true. Calvin Ridley's $1,500 bet has somehow lost him $10 million with one of the harshest punishments and like out of nowhere punishments that I think the NFL has ever come down, right? Like how in the social media era was this kept quiet? Because clearly this was in the works for a while. The
They had to
Falcons
do an
had
investigation.
yeah, the Falcons had an opportunity to trade him, and apparently they have way more class than we do because they decided to not trade him because they didn't want to sue or anybody. And yeah, that's where we're at. So, what was your initial thoughts when this Ridley thing came out?
I just started laughing. Say it ain't so, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
And all I kept
following,
thinking was, this motherfucker was my first round pick in fantasy football. Not only did he decide to take a personal leave of absence,
which
he's
is
just
probably which is probably more serious, but
yeah,
like like the
like he
gambling thing
just
is
is
hilarious.
the gambling degenerate, just like me, and then except he cost me money too.
Chad Kelly, I think, is at your door. She wants to know where you are.
I'm at home.
Yeah.
Got a banner behind me.
Yeah. Coolbeck.ca. Yeah, the Ridley thing is hilarious. I mean, if you follow all sports, you'll know that now Calvin Ridley has absolutely zero chance to get in the Hall of Fame, much like our pal Pete Rose, who did something, I guess, similar-ish, but about 100 years ago. Um, does Calvin Ridley ever take a snap in the NFL again?
Yes.
Does he take a snap with the Falcons again?
No. Because his contract, did he ever get re-signed off the rookie deal?
I think this would have been his 5th-year option. I think that's why he was losing the $10 million this year.
Yeah. So for me, right away, it's like he's not going to play in Atlanta. Is he going to get another look? 100%. He's too much of a talent not to, as long as he stays in shape. But how do you take 2 years of football off? That's the one big thing. And no one's going to pay him, so you're only going to get signed for a veteran minimum.
Right. And so the thing that, and we're not going to go too deep into this, but Calvin Ridley, automatic 1-year suspension minimum. Deshaun Watson, hottest trade candidate for a quarterback. Okay, well, something doesn't line up there. He was Calvin Ridley was in the state of Florida. That is legal. Cool. Anyway, we're not going to go too deep into that because we're not smart enough. We're not that kind of show. But
we're gonna put them on the same level. According to Roger Goodell.
Yeah, well,
same crime.
One of them was suspended for a whole year. The other one was never suspended at all. The other one was just told by his team to stop coming to work. So I don't know. Weird. Anyway, super weird. I don't really understand how that's going to work out. It's going to be really, really strange to see him on the field in 2023. If that's the case, it kind of reminds me of the Justin Blackmon situation. Talented receiver that just never turned in anything because he liked the puff pass a little bit too much, which is kind of funny to think about now that, I don't know, isn't it legal everywhere now?
Yeah, same with Josh Gordon.
Yeah, I was gonna like, I got like a case of gummies in my fridge. Like, don't even, it's not even like weird to talk about. So
yeah, I got a bunch of Skittles in mine, so it's all the same.
Yeah. It's I don't know, but I guess you get suspended for that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's go on to the Cowboys because that's probably more serious football talk. We don't need to talk about how you get suspended for gambling,
or the marijuanas.
Yeah, yeah. So the Cowboys look like they're going to cut Cooper. We kind of anticipated that just based on his cap number, whatever. But the surprise news was that they're going to cut Lawrence as well. I was kind of caught off guard by that. What are they trying to make room for here? Like, they didn't seem like they were cash strapped. I definitely thought that Zeke was on his way out, but haven't heard any of that. So, is there something they're trying to make? I mean, anybody in the secondary? I guess really.
Well, I think they have to rebuild that offensive line, so that might be my only thing is that they want to go in and get some of these free agents.
Okay.
Got a tackle from New Orleans who's out there, Armstead.
Right.
And then Scheifler from Washington. So unless maybe they're going to go chase one of those guys down, and that's going to be a $20 million a year player. So like to me that makes sense because they need some offensive line help after last year. So outside of that, like they're gonna have unless they're gonna because CD is going to his third year.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to extend him after this year, and we already know he's gonna get paid. He's gonna be that $25 million range probably.
Yeah, there's no way that you cut Cooper if you're not willing to pay Lamb.
Yeah, so Lamb's gonna get $25 million, so you got to clear that up now. But it's just wild because they literally just paid Cooper 19.
Yeah.
So
no, there's no loyalty. That's why these guys hold out. They want to get their money right away, and they deserve it. I don't believe that Cooper's career is over unless he signs with the Browns, and then in that point, his career would essentially be over. A good landing spot for him, in my opinion, would be the Jaguars. As much as like they've been a shit team for a long time, you pair him up with his route running ability, with a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence going into his second year, which is going to, it's not going to be make or break year, but it's going to be a year that he's going to take a leap. I think Cooper could have a big part in that. And it might be the difference between the Jaguars winning 2 or 3 games this year.
And you got to think there's a quarterback-driven coach now.
Yeah.
Like Doug Peterson, you're going to see the best of Trevor Lawrence with Doug Peterson there. He's made average quarterbacks look very good.
Right. Well,
he's got Nick Foles paid twice.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Carson Wentz played pretty good football under Doug Peterson.
That guy paid too, so.
Yeah. This guy is, he's no joke, so.
And out of all those guys, I'd say Trevor Lawrence definitely has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is supposed to have the highest ceiling since Andrew Luck, right? So as long as he doesn't just randomly retire and get super skinny and get a beard and look like he's living in the 80s, then
he'd be a great Walmart greeter, though.
I mean, maybe.
Could you imagine that? You just walk into a Walmart in Southern Cal or Northern California, you see Andrew Luck just hanging out there and saying hi to everybody.
You think that's where he lives now? He doesn't live in Indy?
No, he definitely is. He's a Northern California guy, Stanford guy, right? So
he's probably like a scientist or something. We're making fun of the guy being a Walmart greeter.
He probably went back to Stanford to get a master's of something.
Yeah,
He's
well,
probably a doctor by now.
I think he came out with one. I think the guy was like legit.
And then there's us two jackasses making fun of his neck beard.
Yeah, well, hey,
That thing needs to be made fun of, though.
I'm just saying, like, I think that he got a little bit skinny. Like, I think that I don't know. I just don't want to say the 3-letter assassin got him, but like he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. So
I saw a thing where he came out and said, I was like, I call it out. He's going to the XFL. His dad's like, yeah, I was wrong. He
no,
did
he's
not go to
not.
the XFL. Yeah.
He is not going to the XFL. Yeah. Sorry, Liam. All right.
That's where we draw the line, I guess. XFL.
Yeah, apparently.
Those three letters get you.
Yeah, apparently. All right. The franchise tag started coming out today. Who got franchise today? So
Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown got franchise, which definitely puts Teron Matthew as a free agent. I could see him landing in Dallas. That would make a lot of sense for their secondary. But then I saw David Njoku get his tag.
There's no way that guy's signing that.
I mean, he's gonna I think that tag is $10 million, so you might as well take it. I mean, he's not even their starting tight end, so I'm surprised that they did that. I mean, they still have Austin Hooper, right? Unless he's a free agent.
Does it matter who's there in Cleveland? Like I've ridden down with Baker for 4 years, and he's not really helped me out here and backed me up.
No, yeah, I think seems like all these Oklahoma quarterbacks get in the league and just fail. But yeah, that one was kind of that was a strange one. Jesse Bates getting the tag, we pretty much called that the other day. You can't let that guy out of your building. I'm sure that they're going to be able to work something out. But other guys that are kind of sitting here waiting for the tag to land on them: Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams.
Get doubled up though if they have to, because they franchised him last year.
Yeah.
So that's like, if I was him, I would take that payday all day long.
Right. Yeah. Dalton Schultz, the old pepper grinder himself, Mike Gesicki, and Harold Landry. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if those guys will be tagged. The deadline is tomorrow at 4. It does seem like this is the year that teams aren't using it.
I think a Gesicki one, because you don't know what you have with Tua yet. New coach again.
Yeah.
And he was one of Tua's favorite weapons, right, outside of Waddle. So,
and Miami has money. Miami has money to spend.
So that to me makes sense for that one, anyways.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's gonna make some sense. And when it comes, I don't know why not do it unless you have a tight end that nobody knows about on your roster, or you're trying to target a free agent tight end, which it doesn't appear that there is any. It seems like all the tight ends are the ones getting their tags this year. So one thing that I do know, and it was announced just before we came on here, the salary cap is getting expanded by $25 million per team. So
is that for the quarterbacks, or?
Well, it's just to make it so that you can probably field a roster. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to get $55 million a year. Last year's salary cap, I think, was $172 million. Like,
because Mahomes was 34% of his. So is that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, you can't field a team properly. I think, the Chiefs are going to be fine on offense, but I think that they're going to lose quite a few guys on defense here, and it's going to be I don't want to say it's a transition year for them, but they're going to have to be creative. Definitely going to have to be creative. Just like our friends over at MJ's Roadhouse. They get pretty creative with their menu, Chad? You got any insights on their menu?
Yeah, the brie and apple flatbread is unreal.
Ooh.
I had that when we were there the other night. I don't even know the sauce. It's like it's a homemade sauce they put in it, so I can't even sit here and tell you what it is because I don't know what it is. It's their sauce.
Yeah.
But wasn't ready for that blast of flavor. And the one thing I love about it, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, like I love beer and gluten more than the next person. Their gluten-free wings are unreal.
Like their wings are gluten-free?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just surprised you right there. We've had lots of them.
Yeah. No, that explains why I didn't feel like shit after I ate them. But that's cool. Yeah, I mean, anybody that wants to check out a nice little pub, MJ's Roadhouse down there in Lucan. It's definitely a place to check out. And I don't believe that they have any shake lager on tap yet, but one of these days I'm sure that they will. Um, Now, this past weekend, we had the combine going on. Now, how much of the combine did you watch, Chad? And like, are you a combine guy?
So this year, I probably watched the least amount of the combine I think I've ever watched. Um, that being said, I love watching the combine. Like, I understand it's the underwear Olympics, but like, when I say like I'm a football junkie, I don't think people understand how much of a football junkie I am. I love watching it. I actually love watching the position drills more than like the 40, the bench, the vertical, the broad jumps. I don't care about that shit. Anybody can false those. Like, you and I were talking about the 40 before we even came on. We can dip back into that in a second.
Yeah.
But when you watch a guy do a position drill, you actually see what kind of football player they can be. Those drills are there for a reason. Like, athletes are athletes. So, the athletic testing aside, like, when you're watching the DBs rotate their hips, getting in of breaks, when they got to turn and chase, when you watch a receiver cut, if they can run down a line and catch a ball, those kind of things. I'll see quarterbacks like that's just fun always watching the guy throw a ball. Like I think it's not fair to evaluate quarterbacks at the combine though because you're not even throwing with your guys. You have a different receiver on every single play, but you just want to see like the release and those kind of things. So that's kind of fun. But linemen, linebackers, DBs, receivers, like anybody outside of quarterbacks, I think it's a great way to evaluate skill and just football movements more than anything.
Yeah, like the one, and I tried to get into it this year. Last couple years, I wasn't into it. I remember I used to be into the combine, but that was before we had access to so many college games around like our area. You know, this was our chance to kind of see some of the guys that you don't see very often. But now, I mean, with all the college games we get, and you know, like I always pay for the extra college package on Bell, so I generally have seen like these guys play at some point, one way or another. Um, but the one thing that made me turn it off was when they measured Kenny Pickett's hand, because look, the guy played fucking high school football at a high level. He played college football at a high level, won an ACC championship with the Pitt Panthers, who haven't won shit in years. Uh, they're not even like a real. This is in the ACC with Clemson. They're not even a real contender. They would basically be the small school in what is considered a Power Five conference, um, and they're worried about the guy's fucking hands. When anybody that's worried about a hand size, have they ever seen John Abbott pitch for the Yankees? The guy didn't have a hand at all, and he still pitched for the Yankees. Don't worry about the guy's hand size. It just means he's going to wear a glove. Uh, the ball, I believe the NFL ball is a little bit smaller than the college ball anyway. If not, it's the exact same size. He can sling it either way. He's a mobile guy. He's by far going to be the top quarterback drafted. And we need to stop picking and choosing the bullshit stuff that we're going to evaluate people on. And it's one of the biggest annoyances, not only with the combine, but social media. Kenny Pickett's small hands should not be trending on social media. That's fucking embarrassing. Sorry.
The guy played in Pittsburgh in shit weather.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good out there. He has 3 or 4 year starter, so he has the most experience pretty much of anybody coming out.
Yep.
Like, that's the big thing on it. Everybody kept saying he only had one good year. Well, first off, it's Pittsburgh. Let's start with that. You're not going to have very many good years.
Right.
But outside of that, if you can start in the ACC for that many games, that's all you need to do. And he won. He has the best skill set, I think, of anybody coming out. But yeah, you're right. The small hand bullshit. Like, I don't know if anyone's aware of this. He played with probably small hands his whole life. It's all he knows. It wasn't like he magically in his senior year of college, like, oh fuck, my hand shrunk. What do I do?
Right.
He's been gripping the football the same way his whole life. Nothing's changed. And curveball a lot of people. Football life and civilian life is not the same thing. I bet you if you took Mike fucking Wilson off the street and put his hand up beside Kenny Pickett's hand is significantly bigger.
Well, and
These are
here's
fucking second, like these are
yeah.
not normal people.
Here's the thing, like confidence is a huge part of playing quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you have an average size penis, but you need to use both hands because your hand isn't big enough to grip it when you're taking a piss, that's confidence. You're assuming that you need two hands to piss.
And
That's the
guess
kind of
what?
guy that you want playing quarterback for you.
GMs love confidence. That's what
Yeah.
we're gonna say on that one. If you need two hands, GMs love confidence.
Yeah, 100%. And that is the only way to look at it. If the guy can grip the football, whatever. If he needs two hands to hang it in front of the washer, fire away. Do
So
what you got to do.
it's a fucking
But
joke that they're even making this. I like. I think they were just trying to find something to go after him for. The guy had a
yeah,
great
of
college
course.
career. He was a winner, and the NFL's like, "Fuck, we need a storyline today for all these quarterbacks since they're not fucking great." And he's light years above the rest of them, so fuck, we got to insult him somehow. He has average size hands,
Right,
and
right,
it's an
and yeah,
absolute joke. Kurt Warner wore gloves his whole fucking career. That
right.
guy's a
And
first ballot Hall of Famer. He had a movie made about him.
yeah, they made an entire Hallmark movie about the guy. So let's leave Kenny Pickett and his small hands alone. I'm sure that he pulls, and that's all that really matters. Now, from the combine parts that I did watch, I'm gonna say three players that stood out to me, and then if you had three or two or 10, I don't care how many players stood out to you. But Malik Willis, everyone's been hard on him. You didn't play against any competition. I'm sorry, a strong arm and being able to make every throw. It doesn't matter what competition you're playing against. All you need to do is have the right internal clock. That will come with time. He's not going to be a day one starter, but he'll probably be a guy that sits on the bench for the first year, probably starts next year. So, like, if the Steelers got Trubisky 1 year, 10 million, and then decided to draft Willis, then Willis starts 2 years from now. We're all good with that. Sorry, Mason Rudolph. Sorry, Dewey Haskins. Sorry, sorry, Dobbs. It's over. Um, Kyle Hamilton, Chad's boy from the Irish. Uh, not like he did anything that was super flashy. His 40 time was okay. But the fact that he got out there and did every drill and showed off was a big part because he was injured down the stretch. And I think a lot of people don't account for that when Notre Dame blew that huge lead against Oklahoma State.
He didn't play.
And
Fuck yourself.
yeah, Kenneth Walker the third. Guy had an outstanding year with Michigan State. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased here, but I will tell you that I did not think that he would run a sub 4.4 40. I think that he's got a little bit more breakaway speed. He has huge legs, and he can definitely break home runs. Whatever team gets him is going to get a steal. My worry for him is that a team gets him too early, and then his production isn't amazing at first, and people think he's a bust. But as long as he's got the mental toughness to fight through that, it doesn't really matter.
So yeah, number one, Kyle Hamilton. Obviously, everybody kind of came out and said he didn't run fast enough. I'm sorry, he's 6'4", he's 225 pounds, and he still ran under a 4.6. He's playing safety in the NFL. He's not playing corner.
Right.
The field drills, he was the best guy there. Other athletic testing, he was in the top 5 to 10 every single time. I don't think he blew people away, but I think he solidified him being a top 3 pick.
Agreed. I think the Lions make sense.
And I don't think anybody in Detroit's going to be mad about that. And I've like we talked before, we listen to talk radio all the time, football talk all the time. There's a lot of people that said, like, if obviously he's not going to go to 1 overall, no one's ever going to get safety first overall, but no one would ever object to that pick, and he solidified that this weekend.
Yeah.
So did he impress me? No, but he's exactly what he's supposed to do. Obviously, the the big man Jordan Davis and made everybody happy, and he was the talk of the weekend. It's not fair when you're that big and you move the way that he does. He's that explosive too. He had a massive broad jump, and everybody's talking about the 40, but I think it's the broad jump and the vertical that stuck out to me. Because this guy's never running 40 yards, and if he is, I am so sorry if he ever catches you. It's like that's gonna be a mad, pissed off big man.
Yeah.
If you made him run 40 yards, I'm sorry. Whatever happens to you, that's on you. If you're a quarterback in it, I just get out. Just get out of bounds. Don't even slide, because he might trip and fall on you. Just
right. Yeah.
That guy's behind you. Do not let him catch you. And then the last one is Desmond Ritter. Everybody talked about Malik Willis. Like you said, the big arm and all those things. Desmond Ritter doesn't have the biggest arm, but the guy's a fucking baller. He's a gamer. He went out and did every single drill. And then one of the he shot was actually how athletic he was. I didn't know he was that athletic.
Yeah.
I've been high on him all year long. And the one that always stuck out to me was he never actually tried to be an athlete. He moved when he had to. He only ever moved enough to make a throw. It was never, I'm going to go make a run. And he always kept his eyes downfield. And those are the things that made me think this guy's going to be a real quarterback. And then when he ran and moved and did all the agility drills, he was in the top of every single one. And I think that's going to really help him. I think, is he going to be a first round draft pick? I don't know. I don't know. Like, we've talked about this, and we're going to talk about it every fucking week, probably. Just like Aaron Rodgers. How many quarterbacks are going to go in the first round? But I definitely believe that he's going to at least be there's no way he gets past the top of the second round.
Right. Yeah.
I think he moved himself into the first round. But if not, he's definitely in the second.
To me, he's a first round pick because of everything you just said. And I don't think that you want him to be a day one starter. So you don't want a guy that you pick in the second round starting year 2 or like the middle of year 2, and then you're instantly paying him. You know, like at that point, I think that you don't really know what you have on the field anyway. So
any of these quarterbacks have to be taken in the first round. Outside of Sam Howell,
yeah,
even he could still sneak his way in.
right.
But as far as the main three, Pickett, Willis, and Ritter, they have to go in the first round because you want that fifth year.
Right, and I agree, and that's why I think that there might be 5 or 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, and it might be the most amount of quarterbacks that are taken between pick 20 and pick 32. But this is probably going to be teams shooting back up once these guys start to go. It's the kind of thing that there's 6 or 7 of them in this draft. So if you don't get one of them, you're not getting any of them. So you need to find a way to do that. But it seemed like speed was the name of the game when it came to the combine, and Chad and I had a few theories on why that might be, and it makes a lot of sense. If you're an elite athlete and you can run a 4.5 or a 4.6, and you train only to do that drill for 6-7 weeks, I do believe that you can get yourself down to a respectable number. I think that not to downplay and say that it would be easy. I don't think that we could do it. We're not elite athletes. But the comparison that I said to Chad was, if I competitively drank beer for 6 or 7 weeks, do I think that I could chug a beer faster by the end of it? Well, absolutely. I'm not even. I mean, I'll try. You let me know, and I will try that. But I don't put a ton of stock into the 40 times. You know, guys like John Ross, or who was the guy that the Steelers ended up cutting because he had a disagreement with his girlfriend. Dre, yeah. And there was another guy too. He actually plays for BC right now. He was on that famous Florida team, but I can't think of his name.
Chris Rady.
Yeah. yeah. Him and his girlfriend had a disagreement one day, and then the Steelers had to cut him. So those are guys that are heavy speed guys that really didn't pan out. So it's a speed league, but you need more than just that. So I don't know. Chad, does the combine really matter? I mean, you coach football. Does this shit matter?
Like I said, it's the position drills. Obviously, you want to see. I think it more or less shows, has this guy been working while he's in college? These are the best athletes in the world. I'm sure a couple of Olympians will tell me I'm wrong. Well, that's for them to debate. But these guys are in the top percentile, realistically, of athletes. They're natural athletes. You're seeing guys, like I said, 340 pounds running at 40 in under 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Slow linemen are running like a 5.2 40. I can tell you right now, that's faster than probably 75% of the population of the world.
Right.
So yeah, is that stuff impressive? Yeah, sure it is, because you know where your range should be by position. That's all it comes down to. Are you in this window? If you're not in this window, well, then we have a lot of we have to do a lot of digging into the check boxes. Where are you? What happened? If you were there for 4 years and you're on a strength conditioning program, and everybody else from your school kind of fit into this window and you didn't, what the fuck happened to you? How lazy are you?
Right.
If you're a linebacker, you can only bench press 225 6 times. Why? Did you have an injury that you never disclosed, or were you just lazy the last 4 years of your life? If you're a receiver and you're slower, you can't change directions. Why? So like that's why the combine is important. I think it kind of raises those questions or answers those questions. And then you're gonna go to your pro day. You're gonna go talk to all your coaches. You're gonna call their best friend and like the kid they punched in the face in grade 6 and say, did he ever apologize for it? You're gonna do all your diligence and do all those things. You're gonna talk to their high school teachers, ask what kind of person they are. But yeah, I think the combine all it does is kind of just gives you that little like, all right, is this guy worth investigating?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the tape doesn't lie. Game film is what gets you drafted. The combine doesn't get you drafted. The only thing it can do is if me and Shane were in the same position and on film we look like we are identical players. The combine can maybe give you the difference of like which one you might take over the next one. And it's not over athletic performance, it could just be just straight effort.
Effort and like the interview process, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that's gonna really get you good. And I mean, it's something that we watch. It's something that's on there. Like I said, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but overall, like the games on Saturdays are the games that usually dictate who gets drafted where. And I'm more interested in going on YouTube and finding their highlight reels and finding out like why they're even invited to the combine in the first place, let alone like what they're doing at the combine. But that's pretty much all I had for football. I had a couple of basketball things for college basketball, Chad. I don't know if do you have anything else for football?
No, like, I'm good with that. Like I said, we have literally 6 months that we have to get through.
Yeah,
I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will be on every single week leading up to that.
and and yeah, I mean, I had mentioned to you guys that we were going to start a new segment on Sundays called the Morning Brew, and the Morning Brews was supposed to debut this past Sunday, but because of this fucking scumbag asshole, Mike Krzyzewski, the way that he acted after losing that game, I had this whole video about how, as much as I hate Duke, you got to respect him and blah, like very, very respectful. And I shouldn't have done it because I didn't use it. I deleted it. We decided to delay it for one more week because I wasn't going to give any accolades to this guy. Your guys blew the game. It's not a big deal, man. Like you're going to the tournament. You're the top seed in the ACC. But he stands up there in front of an entire crowd that people paid $6,000 to get into that stadium.
Some tickets go for $80,000. They're more than Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah. So the average ticket was roughly in the sixes, apparently, which was more than all the Super Bowls except for this past one. But yeah, I mean, to stand up there and say that it's unacceptable that they lost the game, and I don't know, man. There was a lot of sour faces. If you're a bracket person and you fill out a bracket, you're probably not putting Duke out in the first round, but I wouldn't put them much past the second round, to be honest. They kind of got thrown under the bus by their coach. They're not playing for anything anymore, so I guess the moral of the story is fuck Duke. Teams that are going to make a run that you've probably never heard of, or teams that you can probably start telling your friends that you've been watching them all year, and it's probably going to make you sound a little bit smarter. First team is Iona. Iona is coached by Rick Pitino, who had a huge run in Louisville. Louisville, obviously, the only reason he left there is because they got into a little bit of trouble with Adidas and paying their players, which ultimately wouldn't even be an issue right now because of the NIL. But at that time, it was. Murray State, who actually is, even if they don't win their conference tournament, they're going to get an at-large bid, so they will definitely be in. North Texas, who actually beat Purdue in the first round last year, is going to come back again and be strong again in the tournament this year. The San Francisco Dons, yeah, that's a team name. The San Francisco Dons, who actually play Gonzaga tonight in the semifinals in the Western Conference or West Coast Conference tournament. So that'll be a team to watch out for. And the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. So those are all the teams that are probably going to bust up everyone else's brackets. But if you pay attention and you pick them, then you're probably going to have a pretty successful tournament run. And that's pretty much all I had for you, Chad. So
Are we
any
running a
final?
bracket this year again?
What's that?
Are we gonna run a bracket again this year?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about it yet, so I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I mean, tournament doesn't start till next week, so we're not really planners. We don't really do that stuff.
Well, you know me. I'm gonna just pick off their football teams anyways, and kind of roll the dice that way.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of great football teams in this tournament here.
Kansas really needs to get their football program rolling. It's really fucking me up every year.
Yeah. So that's about all the time that we got, and we will sign off. Make sure that you check out the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Apparently, we're on the TikTok now, so perfect time to go over and subscribe or follow or whatever you do on TikTok. And we will be back next Monday. That'll break down a little bit more tournament stuff, and that'll be a couple of days before